Hi, welcome to Ingvid.com. I'm Adam. Today's lesson is a bit more grammar based, or I guess you could also call it vocabulary based. We're going to look at the word under, but we're going to look at it in a very specific context. And I had a lot of people asking me about certain words that begin with the word under and then take another word with it. So, first, let's make sure we understand what the word under means. First of all, it's a preposition, meaning it has a function in terms of movement of things or location or positioning. And it means when we're using it now as a prefix, actually, I should write this word for you. Prefix. A prefix is a part of a word that comes at the beginning of a word, joins to another word, and becomes a new word together. So as a prefix, under essentially keeps the same meaning as it does as a preposition. It means less or lower or not enough or beneath, below, which is the traditional meaning that most people know. So here are some words with under as a prefix, and it basically means exactly the same thing with the extra word. So what I mean, underachieve. If you underachieve, you achieve less than you could, less than your full potential, right? An underachiever is also somebody who we would think of as lazy or doesn't really try too hard or doesn't really care very much. This person is an underachiever because he or she can reach a certain level, but doesn't really try to. And that's why he or she is an underachiever. Lower, an undergraduate. A lot of people know this word. An undergraduate is in university, is a person studying for a bachelor's degree. Now, here is the graduate person who's graduated from the bachelor's program and maybe will go to a master's or a PhD. So an undergraduate is under that lower level of student within the system. Okay, so it basically means the exact same thing as the two parts: under and graduate, lower than a graduate. Not enough. Underdeveloped means it hasn't been fully developed. It's not developed enough. Very straightforward. And beneath, below, underground. So the train is the subway is underground, means it's under the ground. And we just squeeze the two words together. Under becomes a prefix, ground stays the same, and you have a new noun. Now, the problem that a lot of people have is when the two words join together and have a completely different meaning or a different connotation. Okay, and the connotation means the words may mean the same thing, but the idea behind them is a little bit different. Okay, so let's look at some examples. Undertake. Now, if you're going to undertake something, if you're going to undertake a task, or you're going to undertake a project, essentially it means you're going to do it, or you're going to at least commit to doing it, or accept the responsibility of doing it. Okay, so we have some plans. We're going to undertake these plans next week. We're going to do them. We're going to make them happen next week. Now, the problem is if you say take under means like take below, take under the ground or whatever. Take under can also be a phrasal verb. So if you take someone under your wing, it means you're going to teach them. You're going to take responsibility for them. When you put it the other way around, first of all, there's no space, so it's one word, and it has a different meaning, do. So that's where it becomes a little bit tricky for English learners because you don't know where these differences are. With all of these words, all you do is just rearrange the order. Develop, under, means developed not enough. Achieve, less. Graduate, lower than somebody else, right? So it's easy to understand. These ones, not so much. Undergo. Undergo means be part of a process, or again, could also mean do. So if you undergo surgery, means you're going to lie on a bed and a doctor's going to cut you open and do whatever he does or she does. So if you undergo something, you're part of that process. Undergo surgery, for example. If you underestimate, now estimate just generally means guess something. So you're guessing something about someone or about something, but if you underestimate, it doesn't mean that you're guessing lower or you're guessing less. It means you're not fully appreciating something. So if you underestimate a person's strength, or if you underestimate a piece of jewelry's value means you don't think of it as much as it actually is. So it's like you didn't guess correctly, that's true, but you guessed a lower value for something, or a lower strength, or a lower size, etc. Underlie basically means be the foundation. So technically something lies under, but it's nothing physical, right? It's just an idea. So the theory is underlined by certain other facts. So these facts form the basis of a new theory about something else. So you can guess this meaning. Something lies underneath, but generally it's not something physical. So you have to be careful that to know its foundation or basis for something. To undercut. Again, you could cut like a tree. You undercut a tree means you're cutting it at a lower level and it's topping over. But a more common use of undercut, again, especially in business, means to offer a lower price for something. So for example, I have a company and this person has a company, and we are both bidding. We're both making offers for a contract with the government. This guy says he'll provide them with whatever the product is for $10 per unit. Now, $10, he's making a little bit of a profit. I say to the government, okay, I will do it for $9. $9, I make almost no profit, but I get in with the government and I'll do something else with them later. So I undercut my competition by offering a price that he or she can't afford, right? Undercut, offer for much less, and especially when you're talking about competition. Undermine. Now, this one is very hard to guess because mine, oh, it's mine. Like this pen is mine, but that's not what it means here. To undermine means to be tricky or sneaky about something. So both me and my friend here want to get a promotion at the company. So I will undermine him. I will go to the boss or I'll go to the manager and I'll say, you know, this person, he cheated on his last report. He didn't actually make that many sales. So I undermine his chances of promotion. I'm a little bit tricky. I'm a little bit sneaky. I do something a little bit bad to make him or her look worse, and I get the promotion. Okay, so these are all verbs. Now, we also have adjectives that are a little bit difficult to guess. If something is understated, it means it's a bit more subtle or delicate. So subtle, it isn't spelled like it sounds, so I'll write it for you. If something is subtle, it's not very obvious. Okay, so if a woman is wearing an understated dress, it means, like, let's say she's very rich or she has a very good body, but her dress is understated. It means it's not too showy, or it doesn't show off her body too much. It's just enough to be nice, but not enough to like shout for attention. Okay, it's a good word actually. Underhanded, it doesn't mean the bottom of your hand, or the bottom of your hand, depends which way you hold it. Underhanded is also a little bit like undermine. Undermine is a verb. Underhanded is an adjective. If you're doing something that is underhanded, it's sneaky or tricky. It's not really nice. It's a little bit of a cheating way to get a certain goal or result, etc. And then we have nouns. Now, we had undertake, basically means to do. Undertaker, completely unrelated. An undertaker is a person who prepares dead bodies for burial. So when a person dies, the family sends the body to the funeral home, or the undertaker comes to their house and takes the body and prepares it. Like if it does makeup or if it dresses it, again, different cultures, different ceremonies, but the undertaker is that person who handles the dead body. Okay? An understudy, it's not a verb, even though study is a verb. An understudy is a noun. And when you have like a play and you have an actor or actress who has the lead role, now the company that is producing the play wants to make sure that nothing happens, that the show will go on. So they have an understudy. This is a person who studies all the same lines and practices and rehearses the same as the main character. If something bad happens to the main actor or actress, the understudy can come in and take over until the main actor comes back. Underworld. It could literally mean underworld, like hell. Like underneath our world, there's another world where the devil lives or where dead souls go to live. but in everyday use, it means like the criminal world. If you think about mafia or gangs, things like that, criminals live in a different type of world. It's called the underworld. And an underwriter, if you're thinking about business, an underwriter is a person who will guarantee a loan. So usually you're talking about insurance companies or banks. So if you take out a loan, somebody will underwrite your loan. So if you can't make the payment, the bank doesn't worry about it because somebody else will make the payment and you'll pay that person back later. Okay? So again, a lot of these words you can guess. The ones that you can't guess, hopefully I made them a bit clear here. But again, use the dictionary. If you're not sure what a word means, don't guess. Confirm in the dictionary or ask a native speaker who knows it and make sure you know all these words. But in case you did get all these and you want to make sure you practice them, please go to ingvid.com. There's a quiz where I will quiz you on all these words, make sure you actually understood them. And of course, don't forget, you can ask me all the questions you want. I'll be happy to explain these words or other words like them. And don't forget to come back and subscribe to my channel. Give me a like if you like the video. And I'll see you again soon with more vocab, grammar, and other lessons. Bye-bye.